Good morning, good morning, good morning. Welcome back to another episode of Coffee with Khalipa. This is just a short format podcast where I dive into something that I am thinking about. Now, it is the month of March, and I hope you guys have had a phenomenal year so far. It's pretty shocking that it's gone by so quickly. But today's episode, I want to talk about this idea of having patience. I want to share with you guys a really impactful story in my life. And for the month of February, I was sharing stories that impacted my life. Today, I wanted to talk about this idea of having patience, and it's something I've been really reflecting on as of lately as we're building Train Hard. I feel like there's always opportunities, and I think you guys are going to be related to this. Like, you guys want to go out and go do something great. It just takes time. It takes consistency. It takes patience. And I've learned that the hard way in my life. So I hope you guys are pumping at the gym right now. I hope you're out there on your way to work and just going to get some juice, man. I'm feeling good this morning and I'm ready to rock and roll. But here's the story. So I'm going to high school, and at the time I'm playing multiple sports. I thought I was going to get recruited for football. I ended up, talking to some schools, and it ended up not working out. And it was all my fault. It was my fault because until that time, I had just been kind of a guy who was just pushed through the system, right? I went to a private Catholic school and I was just pushed through the system. My grades were mediocre, but when push came to shove and, my friends and I, including my wife, applied for colleges, it was the first time in my life where there was a moment where I wasn't continuing getting pushed. Meaning at that point, there was a fork in the road. And either you had done the work or you hadn't done the work to get accepted into the colleges you wanted. And as I said before, some of the conversations I was having to go play football, it didn't work out. And I ended up at a junior college because I applied to Santa Clara University coming out of high school and I was not accepted. So that was strike number one. Okay. So I did not get accepted to Santa Clara University, and all my friends, including my girlfriend at the time, who then became, my wife now, Ashley, she got accepted. So I go to this junior college and it's called West Valley. And don't worry, I got a story here to connect, I think, for you guys out there right now, and something I'm deeply thinking about, which is this idea of patience. So I show up at West Valley and I'm coming from high school, dude. And I think a lot of you guys can relate to this. In high school, you probably played sports, you're pretty popular, you felt good. Like, everything was great. Dude, I had a great high school. I had a lot of fun. I had a lot of good friends. I had a lot of partying, too much partying. And I get to college. And at this point, I go to a junior college because I didn't get accepted in the 4 year. First day of class, first day, I sit down and I don't remember the class. I don't remember the girl's name, but I just remember what she said. That's all I remember. It's the first day at West Valley, which is supposed to be a 2 year, get your associates and move on type of school. So we're sitting around, and again, I had this perspective like, oh, I come from being this popular guy to being nobody, right? And so I'm sitting there and everybody's introducing themselves. So it's like, hey, I'm John. This is my second year at West Valley College. Then it's like, hey, I'm Susie. This is my whatever year, whatever, at West Valley. Then the woman next to me, directly next to me, she says, hi, my name is Mary. I'm going to make up that name. And this is my 7th year at West Valley College. And I just remember sitting back and like, it like took me aback. Like, I had a moment where I was like, what? You've been here for 7 years. And I'm not hating on her because maybe there's certain circumstance, who knows why she was 7 years, but it wasn't what I wanted for myself. I wanted to get the hell out of that school as quickly as possible and get back to the path that I felt like I should be on, which was with the rest of my friends and my wife. So I immediately I go to the school counselor and I'm like, dude, I got to get out of here. How do I do it? And they say, hey, you got to take these classes, this. Okay. So remember, I already had one strike on my college. I didn't make it in because I didn't apply myself. I didn't have the appropriate grades and I didn't get accepted. So then I'm at West Valley and I go for a quarter or semester or whatever it was. I get great grades and I'm like, oh, now is a great opportunity to apply for Santa Clara University again, or whatever it was. It was like, maybe I'd been there, actually, now that I think about it, a year. I had been there a year. I'm like, okay, I've been here a year. I have great grades. I'm going to apply again. I'm definitely going to get in. But at that point, they needed 2 years of transcripts to then remove your high school. So I still had to apply with my high school transcripts and the quote unquote 4.0 I had for the 1 year at West Valley. Well, I got rejected again. So I go back, I take summer classes, I go for another quarter, and then somehow I applied a third time and I got rejected again. Three times I got denied from Seneca University. And it taught me a really valuable lesson that patience and that consistency was the only thing that was going to get me there. I couldn't just fast forward this process. And it was really, really difficult for me. And it's a good life lesson that I've taken with me moving into business is that, you know, these things take time. And I was trying to speed up the process. And the admissions department was just letting me know, dude, you can't let 6 months of hard work and commitment make up for years of being a jackass and partying too much. Like it just doesn't work that way. You need to put in your dues more. You need to be committed longer. You need to show your consistency for a duration of time so that we could believe that you're going to be a good candidate for the school. So fast forward a little bit, I get through my 2 years, I apply again, and I get accepted. That was my fourth time applying, and I got accepted at Seneca University. I spent 2 more years there, and I graduated with my wife and the same kids. We all graduated at the same time. But what I reflected on, even now as I'm thinking more about this and what we're building through Train Hard, and what I've noticed, whether it was through my CrossFit career or jujitsu, is that anything worth doing just takes time. And anything that you want to achieve, especially if it's worth anything of value, it takes time, commitment, and consistency. You know, getting on the podium at the CrossFit Games and then getting back there multiple more times, it took a long time of dedication to get there. Getting my black belt in jiu-jitsu took a long time of consistent training. And sometimes you just feel like you're in the gutter. And then you get all of a sudden, you look back and all this bulk of work allows you to achieve something. And I think that when you're building a brand, building a business, when you're building your career, you know, you got to remind yourself that this stuff takes time. You learn, you grow, you develop. And then all of a sudden you look back, you're like, damn, dude, look at that journey it took me to get to where I'm at today. And so wherever you're at on that journey, man, celebrate that journey. Celebrate that grit, that determination, that road. Because here's the thing I'll tell you. I was doing CrossFit for about a year before I competed in my first CrossFit Games, and I won that CrossFit Games. I then dedicated myself to daily consistency and discipline for the next decade. And when I got back on the podium, which was, I think there was like a 5 or 6 year gap before I got back on the podium, that was way more meaningful to me. My second place in 2013 was way more meaningful for me than my first place in 2008 because of the dedication, commitment, and time it took me to get back there. And so if you're in the middle of a fight and you are pursuing something special and it's taking a long time, just recognize that when you get to where you want to go, which you will, you're going to get there. You're going to get to your goal. You will. Man, just how much more meaningful it's going to be when you look back and you look at all the sacrifice you made, all the hard work you put in. It's going to be that much greater than if it was just given to you in the beginning. Same thing with the black belt. Dude, just if someone just gave me a black belt, my son loves to give me shit and say that oh, where'd you go buy your black belt? If someone just gave you a black belt, it doesn't mean anything. But if you know that you've put in a decade's worth of time on the mats, it means something to you. And it's the same thing with what we're building here at Train Hard. Through our in-person meetups, through our virtual calls, and through our online training every day. I know that, we've been at it for a few years now. I've been hosting weekly for 3 years in a parking lot. Do I think we're where we need to be? Of course not. I have this vision of impacting millions of men, millions. And I believe that we could change the world if we get more guys to train hard in a parking lot, shoulder to shoulder, and then connect after. I think that we need more of that in this world. And I am on a mission to do that. But it's not going to happen overnight. And maybe, to be honest, it's not meant to happen overnight. Maybe the way it's meant to happen is that it's going to take a decade. But when it happens, which we're going to get there, boy, how great that's going to feel. And so anytime that you're thinking about doubting what your path is, just keep in mind that when you get to where you need to go, all of that hard work is going to make that achievement feel that much better. And that's what I learned about applying 4 times to get to Santa Clara University. is that when I finally got that letter in the mail, that was old school. Nowadays is email. Boy, it was worth it 1,000 times over. But if I had just been accepted out of high school, I wouldn't have been able to feel that sense of bliss and accomplishment and hard work. Whew! I'm fired up today. I hope you guys are as well. I hope you guys just keep your head down and keep working. I hope I just keep my head down and keep working of what we're building here at Train Hard. I want to thank all of you guys for being a part of that journey alongside me. Join our weekly calls on Thursdays. Join a men's club every single week. And join us on the Train Hard app. Hit the daily workout that I do every single day with my son and go hit up the community section and comments there. And if you're not doing those things, dude, join us. They're just anchors. That's all we're trying to do. I appreciate all you guys. I hope you guys are getting something and some at least a little school of thought, little something from these Kafka Kalipas, and it just gives you a little bit of juice for the rest of the day. Keep training hard. See you guys again next week.